Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new, my name's Phoebe. I'm gonna do my makeup for you. My daily makeup has changed so much since the last time I filmed it, which was so long ago. And while I do my makeup, I want to talk about interior design trends I've been loving and hating. I have way more on the list of love than I do of hate. I said I was gonna make more interior design and fashion videos on this channel, and then I just like went deep into a fashion rabbit hole. But I've had an ongoing list of notes of just like random interior design things that I love that I want to incorporate when I get my own house eventually, and they're fairly specific and random, so I wanted to talk about some of them. First thing is butcher block countertops, which I feel like I don't know anyone else who has ever said that they wanted butcher block countertops. They're like, I didn't even realize they were inexpensive. They're like the cheapest way to do countertops in your kitchen, but I think they're so beautiful and like cozy and cottagey. And I'm not like a huge fan of marble for whatever reason, which is so random because I feel like marble is such a simple basic thing, but I just love the look of butcher block countertops. I'll zoom you in a tiny bit. I love browns in my spaces, and I feel like it would be really cool to, instead of having wooden floors with a marble countertop, bring the brown in with butcher block countertops and then do like a cool tile floor, or even just like a smooth concrete floor I think would be really cool. So that's number one, is butcher block countertops. And I've not done a lick of my makeup yet because I'm bad at multitasking. My second one is pops of red, which could either be, do I look good doing this? Which could either be like red throw blankets, red trim I've seen people do, red furniture. I just think like it is so cool because I've always been so into like neutrals and muted tones in homes. But when you have a tone that's largely neutral and then like add pops of bright red, like bright strawberry red, I think is so cool and beautiful, and like kind of gives a hint of like old Hollywood without being overly obnoxious. I've actually been doing bottom mascara recently, which is something I go so in and out of. And I've been doing no eyeliner or like eyeshadow of any kind. I've just been doing both top and bottom mascara. And once I have my like concealer on and it looks a bit cleaner, I love how it looks. Next on my list is colored trim, which I kind of just mentioned with the red trim. I have never thought to do this until I saw people doing it on Pinterest. It seems very European to have colored trim. Like obviously I've seen contrasting trim, like contrasting from the wall color. To have like actual like not bright but like colored trim is such a cool, unique idea that I feel like would just make your home so unique to you really easily. And it's also a cool way to like, if you want to keep your walls white because you like the light and bright look but you also really like color, I feel like trim is a perfect way to like play with your color palette without drenching the whole wall in a bright color. I hope this looks normal because I don't have a mirror. The next thing I've been loving is lime wash walls. I follow Chelsea Jade Curtis on Instagram, and she did lime wash in her son's bedroom, I think, or maybe her master bedroom, maybe both. And it just looks so beautiful and cozy again. Like I think because lime wash is kind of an old trend from like, I don't know, I would guess 60s or 70s maybe. Maybe that's totally wrong, but it gives like cottage, like your grandma's cottage or your grandma's house, but like when you incorporate it with the rest of your modern taste, I guess, pair kind of a grandma-y feature with other non-grandma-y design, I think it can look so cool and just like bring such a level of like quaint coziness to the space. The next thing that I think is funny, I've been noticing so much of, is fish motifs, which is so random. But I feel like if you've been on Pinterest and you're in like the interior design Pinterest bubble, you've probably seen fish motifs pop up recently. I've even seen it with like fish motif objects, like a comb in the shape of a fish. I've seen so many like fish things, even on like ceramics. I've seen so much. I don't know what it is about a fish. It kind of gives like the interior design or like homeware version of bows. It's just like a random motif that's just popped up and is everywhere. And I actually really love it. I think again, it's like kind of cozy cottage vibes, but without being like the cheesy kind of like lake house decor. I think there are really cool ways to do fish. I've also not been doing foundation. I have not worn foundation. I'm serious since high school. I have really sensitive skin, so that's not like a weird flex. It's not like I just don't need it. I just have really sensitive skin. So if I put makeup all over my face, like especially the areas where I break out, like my cheeks in this area, it will break out. So I do what I can to just like clean up the dark spots and dark circles with concealer and then blend it as well as I can and then do my blush or bronzer or whatever to add some color back in. But another thing I've been loving is the like Japanese style paper lanterns and like paper light fixtures, which I feel like is kind of similar vibes to the fish motif. Like you could definitely argue that that motif is like very Japanese because it's very like simple and like elegant and unique, and I could just see fish and paper lanterns existing so harmoniously in a space. Another thing I've been loving that kind of does remind me of Japanese design, having your books facing pages out. So like whether it's on your nightstand or on a bookshelf, the tendency is always to have its spine facing out. I think the classic thing to do if you're like super mindful of your design is to take off the paper covers and just have the like true spine of the book exposed, which I still think is really pretty. But I think another style that is like really often overlooked is the style of the pages facing out. And the reason I say that feels Japanese to me is because it's like tan paper. It's like really just like the simplest version of what the book can look like. Just pages, pages, pages. All the pages look really similar, and it's just like the small strips of the covers that are a little bit unique and different. But I feel like that paper texture and the color is very like Japanese to me. I don't know, I might be totally pulling this out of my ASS. I guess it's just the like simplicity of it kind of reads Japanese design to me that I love. Next thing that I've been loving is unique stairs. So instead of just having like hardwood stairs, which is like the classic and still really beautiful way of designing a staircase, I've been loving either painted stairs or tiled stairs, or even like the old school way of putting a carpet runner down the stairs. I've seen people do it really beautifully. Again, I think that like old style of having a runner down the stairs is just cozy because it's nostalgic and old. I've seen people do it with brass rods on each stair, which I think is really beautiful. It's kind of more of like a modern glam take on it, for lack of a better word. I really like just the simple, no brass rods, just the runner down the stairs. I think that can look really beautiful despite the fact that it's like seemingly outdated. The next really random thing I've been loving, let's see if I can talk while I'm doing my lip liner. The next really little thing is skiffers. And I didn't know what the name of this was either until I decided to make this video and Google it. But skiffers are those like metal corner protectors that are on your baseboards around corners. They're like, I guess probably not really that necessary. I mean, they are like technically to protect the corners, but it's not like an actual necessity. But the way that they're shaped and like the fact that they're metal and have really intricate details is really beautiful. And I think it just adds like a whole other level of thoughtfulness to the design of your home. It looks like so elevated and thought through, and like, yeah, like every element was thought of. I think it's just really cool and pretty, and I don't see them a lot at all anymore. You know how I said I have sensitive skin? The only cream like blush product I have found that doesn't break me out and that looks really good is this NARS lipstick. I have been using it for so long. It has never broken me out and it has never failed me. It's the perfect color. This one is Show Off. It's like a brownie kind of dark burgundy. I just put it on my cheeks, my nose, and I'll put it on like the outside corner of my eyes, and it ends up kind of looking like I tried a bit harder with eyeshadow, and I just blend it with my finger. And then with my eyebrows, I really don't do anything. I would just brush them up with a spoolie, but my bronzer powder exploded in my makeup bag and now my spoolie has bronzer all in it, so I'm not going to use it. I'll just like fix it with finger. The next thing I've been loving is having no headboard behind your bed, which I think is another really great cheap way or inexpensive way to just like save money when you're designing your space, but to have it look really intentional and beautiful and like quaint. My sister and I were talking on our last podcast episode about the concept of honest materials, which means designing with materials that are all like real and authentic. So if you can't afford to get hardwood floors, don't use laminate that is supposed to look like hardwood. Like, use a different solution that is a true honest material that you can afford, And it's like kind of counterintuitive because you think, I don't know, people usually go the route of making their mood board first and then saying, how can I get this look in my budget? Whereas it usually comes out looking better if you just choose the best option for your budget and not try to fake anything. And not that not having a headboard is an honest material, but I guess if you are on a tight budget, it's a way to not use a dishonest material, I guess, because bed frames can be a little bit expensive. So if you can't afford to get like a nice solid wood headboard or a nice like iron, whatever, headboard, just not using one is totally an option. You don't have to go on Home Goods and find like a cheap plastic version that looks like distressed wood. Usually that comes out not looking as good. And I just love the idea of having no headboard at all. I think even if I were able to afford anything I want, I do really like that look. I don't mind at all not having a headboard. It's just kind of another design element that you have to design around. Like you have to nail the headboard because it's such a huge part of your space. Whereas if you get everything else right, you don't need to go out searching for a headboard that perfectly goes with all of the other design elements you have in your space. You can just not do it and it looks really chic and cool. My favorite lip combo. I have naturally pretty dark lips, I guess, and I've overlined just like the top little cupid's bow with lip liner earlier, but I've been liking having kind of lighter lips. So my favorite lip combo has been this Charlotte Tilbury lipstick with this lip oil on top. So the Charlotte Tilbury one is in the shade Honey, and then this one is the Gizu in, I don't know what the shade is, but I'm pretty sure they only make 3 shades of this, so it's the orangey one. My last thing that I've been loving is, did I just get that on my teeth? Hand painted tiles or hand painted motifs like on your wall. I think the reason I love it so much is because I grew up in my childhood bedroom that had Winnie the Pooh scenes like really detailed in like illustrative style, hand painted on my walls by my mom and my aunt. Like the vines and the leaves and the trees and the characters and stuff. Such a just like cute vibe. But even for like adult spaces, even for like normal areas of your house that's not a nursery, having like, doesn't have to be like scenes, but like around the edges of the wall, hand painted vines or like florals or just little design motifs, I think is so elegant and beautiful. It reminds me again of like European beautiful restaurants and hotels that just have like all those extra artistry details that really have the power to make your space so homey and so unique and so true to you. And I think it's just so beautiful. It's like the opposite of modern, but in the best way. Now going on to some of the interior design trends that I hate. And I say hate lightly because I don't think that these things are bad design. I don't think they're poor choices, they're just not my style. One of them being eclectic pattern mixing. There's like such a big trend, and it's not even really a trend, I think it's just a design style of eclectic pattern mixing. Bold colors, bold patterns, mixing all of them. And the reason I think I don't like this is because sometimes to me it just seems like a cheat code almost. Like if you're gonna go for like eclectic patterns and colors, you can kind of find any pattern and color and put them together, and like if you put enough together it's just gonna look like that style. I feel like you don't have to be as picky when it comes to like, picky and intentional when it comes to pairing everything together. And I think you could say the total opposite. Like if you want to do it right, you have to be even more really intentional and picky because like so many patterns and colors going on. But certain spaces, I just think they pick a color palette and any pattern they find, they throw in and they just bank on it working because they can say that it's eclectic. And again, I don't think it's bad design. It's definitely a choice that is like artistic and cool. But for my home, I don't think I would ever want that. I think I would get so sick of it so fast and it wouldn't feel like me and it wouldn't feel cozy and homey. It would feel more like a experimental hotel lobby design, if that makes sense. The next thing I hate that everyone else loves is, like I said, marble, but specifically like waterfall marble, like just a countertop drenched in marble, an island drenched in marble where the marble is pouring all the way down the sides. I don't love that look. I think it's just too modern again for me. It's not as cozy as like just regular minimal countertop or butcher block countertop. It's just glam, and I think I'm just not a very glam person when it comes to my interior design taste. The last thing I do with my makeup is I will either bring back some of the like beauty marks that I have. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do this well without a mirror. This is just an eyebrow pencil. Yeah, you can't even tell. I'll bring back like some of the little freckles that I have somewhere under that concealer. And the other thing I do with this sometimes is if I'm like filming or going to dinner or like an event where I want to look nice, is if I have any blemishes or acne scars or anything, sometimes I will go over them in a brown pencil so that I can kind of fake it and turn it into a beauty mark instead of a blemish. So I have a scar like here. You would never know. It's probably bold. I can't tell. The next thing that I don't love is, I've kind of touched on this already, but like bright and bold color combos. Again, I feel kind of the same way, just like it just doesn't feel homey, and it's not bad design, but I think it just belongs more in spaces of either a home of someone that just like loves that and that's totally their style, or a modern boutique hotel or a modern restaurant or something. It just doesn't scream homey to me, even if the furniture pieces are soft, like couches and fireplaces, and it just doesn't read homey to me. I don't have much else to say about it. I just don't really like the bright bold color situation. And the very last thing that I do not like, that has been a trend for so long, is graphic prints and gallery walls. I don't mind a gallery wall if it's like the old school family photos going up the stairs. I think that's cute. But what I really don't like for some reason is like a big gallery wall behind your couch that's all graphic prints. I think maybe the reason that I've grown so sick of it is because there are so many companies that just like sell artist prints that aren't very good quality, and you can just like go online and pick out a bunch and make your gallery wall all in 1 second with them, and it just ends up looking so unpersonal. If you're gonna do a gallery wall, or if I was gonna do a gallery wall, I would much rather have some family photos, some paintings, like actual paintings on canvas or paintings that are framed, maybe some graphic prints if I find some that like really connect with me, but like I'd rather have more like hand done art pieces and photos rather than just like a collection of prints that are all in the same like thin black frame. That's all for my makeup and for my interior design trends that I'm loving and hating. I'm currently getting ready to film a really fun video that I'm not sure if it's out yet, but I'm gonna be recreating iconic outfits from history, from women who were kind of known for their fashion throughout history. And I kind of want to make this a series because I had so many people in mind. Like, I don't know if I will separate them by decade or by, I don't know, but I think for this first episode, I'm gonna do Marilyn Monroe, Janis Joplin, Diana Ross, Farrah Fawcett, and maybe a couple others, but it's gonna be so fun because I'm gonna pick the outfits I want to recreate, and I think I'm gonna take you guys thrifting with me to get the pieces that I don't have, and then we'll come home and style them and photograph them, and it'll be so much fun. I'm so excited. So subscribe if you don't want to miss that video, and I should also have some more interior design videos entering the mix in the near future as well. So give this video a like if you enjoyed it, and subscribe to my channel if you want to, and I'll see you guys in a few days. Bye.